Aubrey Plaza is pretty well known for her awkward moments.
See, what is the wizard? You see, you're drinking my water. That could be the bad.
But despite and even because of her awkwardness, she is extremely popular, successful, and attractive to many people, which is why in this video we're going to break down how to turn your awkward moments into ones that actually make people more drawn to you. And I'm not saying that everything Aubrey does is something you want to copy, but you can learn a ton from her approach. So to begin with, it helps to understand what causes awkwardness in the first place. One way that you can unintentionally cause an awkward situation is by not knowing and then not following social protocols in any given situation. For instance, giving a one-word answer to an icebreaker.
Thanks for being here.
Yep.
No, yep is not the correct response.
To be clear, there isn't a hard and fast rule that says you need to say, "Thanks for having me." In fact, as long as you display positivity and enthusiasm, you'll do fine in any sort of greeting. There's not one specific thing to say. But one thing that you should really do, and it's one thing that I saw Aubrey miss early in her career, is shake people's hands or make some kind of physical contact in the greeting. Otherwise, awkward things like this can happen. Now, if you mess any of this up, for whatever reason, you stumble on your words, you miss a handshake, the best thing to do is a key principle of turning awkwardness into attraction, and that is to call it out. Discomfort balloons when everyone knows that something is awkward, but no one acknowledges it. And the person who does call out an awkward moment gets points for having the guts to do so. So allow yourself to lean into the awkwardness for a moment, like this.
Yes! That was awful. It turned into a high five and it just fell apart.
Conan kinda teases PewDiePie here, but I generally recommend that you don't make it the other person's fault when you're calling out awkward moments, and this is actually something that Aubrey does very well. Whatever bit of awkwardness occurs, you can act like it was planned in a joking manner, and this is what she does in this next clip when the music runs long at an acceptance speech.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you. That's my theme song.
Now, calling a situation out can define you as a leader in a group, but if you want to take the extra step and really make people laugh from an awkward moment, you can call out that situation and then lean into it even further. Now, Aubrey demonstrates that idea in this next clip. As the camera lingers too long on her inner thigh, she runs with this joke.
Stop it. You're getting me all hot and bothered.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm putting that right up to bitestrokers.com.
Yeah, I'll stroke my bite any day for you, Conan.
Now, there is one category that I want to bring up in particular, and that is when someone makes a social mistake. I don't mean that you're going around fact-checking people politically or scientifically, but when someone calls you by the wrong name or has a piece of food on their face or says nice to meet you when you've met before, you definitely want to call these moments out. These are the ones that the awkwardness can get out of control if you don't say something early. And that brings us to the next group of things that can become awkward that we want to turn around, and that is when you give short answers as people are trying to make small talk with you. For instance, someone says, "How are you?" You respond, "Good." Or they say, "What did you do this weekend?" You simply say, "Not much," and conversation dies there. Or,
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Wilmington, Delaware.
Wilmington, Delaware. I don't know many people from Delaware.
Thank you.
Yeah.
now, if you're not on television, you're not going to have a David Letterman to laugh it off and push the conversation forward. In fact, it might die right there, and you've probably experienced something like that. And that's why, as Aubrey has gone later into her career, you can see her answer these basic warm-up small talk questions and then add something that the question reminds her of. That extra sentence carries the conversation and is an excellent habit to get into generally.
No, really, as a little kid, did you really think that plazas were named after you?
I mean, no, but I do remember as a child, like, one of the first, like, lies I think that I ever, like, told was, like, I told a bunch of people in my class that the Plaza Hotel, that my dad owned it or something.
Oh, wow.
And that takes us to the third cause of awkwardness, which is not having appropriate expressions to give your words context. When people don't know what emotional response is appropriate in any given situation, they sometimes just freeze, and they feel awkward, which can make you feel awkward, and then the whole thing spirals out of control. This is why we look to someone's emotional expression as much as we listen to their words when we're paying attention to them. Those awkward moments occur when your delivery is flat and the appropriate emotional response can become ambiguous, like here.
I recently laughed so hard that I threw up.
Now, you have a few options to make these sort of situations turn from awkward to more attractive. First off, if you're going with that more deadpan delivery, know that this actually works best when what you're saying is so over-the-top strange that the juxtaposition between your delivery and your words is undeniably humorous, like in this clip.
You having a good summer so far?
Yes, so many penises.
If other people aren't picking up on your more deadpan style of humor, there is a time to break and simply laugh at yourself, which clues all the other people in and saves the joke from just becoming weird.
I caught myself yesterday singing a song out loud that goes, kill, 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 die, die, die.
But in the worst case scenario, when the crowd is not getting the emotional response that you're going for, you can just pause and explain yourself. Again, this is following the theme from the first tip, which is that awkwardness is compounded when it goes unrecognized and unspoken. But when you have the social savviness and the confidence to just bring it up, it can dissipate quickly.
I recently laughed so hard that I threw up. And I'll tell you why. Because I was in an umami burger.
Now, the next type of awkwardness is maybe one of the most common, and this is one that you'll want to turn around when you don't know what to do in a conversation. We've all had that moment where you can't think of what to say, and it leads to an awkward silence, or worse, ends the conversation entirely. If you do run into this and you don't know how to respond to a question, straining to keep that trailing conversation going could be even more awkward. And instead, what you can do is something so awkward that it actually saves the conversation: the hard pivot. You just take the conversation in a brand new direction or drop something completely random in to lighten the mood, like this.
What was that look about? I just offered to save your life by flying, and you did it. Looked away.
No,
I felt terrible now.
Marry me.
Did you say chimpanzee or chimpanzee?
Fork.
Yeah.
I like that. We haven't done that before.
Want to see my socks?
Yeah.
Now, in my opinion, the best of these hard pivots is the first one, marry me. And that's because the joke has a positive subtext towards Conan. So when you're flat out of things to say and you introduce one of these hard pivots, keep in mind that the more positive the subtext, the more likely it is to be laughed at and accepted by whoever you're speaking to. Now, I have definitely been a bit random in covering these awkward moments because it can come up in so many different kinds of scenarios. But there is a common thread that ties all of these things together. And as always, this most important piece comes down to a mindset. With Aubrey in particular, she isn't trying to do what she is supposed to do in any of these situations. She's not micromanaging what people think of her.
Yeah, I try to have fun with it and not take it too seriously, because the minute that I really get wrapped up in that and think this is what I need to say, or this is whatever, it's over.
This is the great paradox of self-improvement as it relates to confidence, charisma, and attraction. On the one hand, there are concrete things that you can do to be more likable and comfortable in social scenarios. On the other hand, overloading yourself with what you should do is no fun at all, and it's going to make you come across as stiff and robotic. So the best advice for using this channel is worth repeating now, and it's to pick just one thing to focus on at a time. Maybe it's adding another sentence after the small talk. Maybe it's playing around with some hard pivots. Let that be the one habit that you develop, while for everything else, just be as you are today. And that might mean that you say random, vulnerable things.
And I've been really hormonal lately.
Or it might mean that you joke around about your own insecurities.
Do I look cool?
You look awesome.
Sweet.
But weirdly enough, when you allow these moments to just happen naturally and you don't try to fix all of them, you tap into the same core of Aubrey's appeal, which is that she isn't putting on airs. And in the long term, it's that comfort with your own awkwardness that winds up turning it into something attractive.
You're the most fascinating person I've talked to in quite a long time.
Oh, okay.
I'm serious. This is really good stuff.
If you want to know the most important habit to focus on every single day so that you quickly build both confidence and charisma, I would recommend checking out our program, Charisma University. It's a step-by-step online course that is guaranteed to give you more confidence and charisma in just 30 days. And it's structured with a daily action guide so that you're not guessing when it comes to which habits you need to learn first or the orders to go after. You just follow the guide and you will get the best charisma results that I've ever seen. Now, you can read all about the details inside in the link below, but I figured the best way to let you know about what the course is just to let the members speak for themselves. So here are a few things that CU members have written in via email or the course comments. The first one comes from a woman who has seen changes in her relationships with family and with friends, and she says, "Hey Charlie, just wanted to let you know how awesome this course has been for me so far. For the first time in my life, I feel like everyone around me cared about what I was saying. It seemed like everyone listened to me and responded really well to my jokes and to the serious things as well. I didn't really think I would like being in the center, but I loved it. Thanks so much for sharing your knowledge with all of us. It's been really life-changing so far." The next one comes from a woman who used CU to get a new job, and she says, "I would like to reach out and thank you and your team at Charisma University. Long story short, thanks to my new mindset and attitude, I was able to successfully get into a 16-week IT program. Among the 100 people that applied, I was one of the 17 students that got accepted. I connected with over 60 IT professionals and am building my network to land an internship. I didn't even notice I was doing all of this until one of my classmates commented on how good I am at networking. The feeling of realizing how much I've changed and where that has gotten me is absolutely phenomenal. I am so happy and so thankful to you and Charisma on Command. It truly changed my life, and I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you." Now, the last one comes from a guy who joined Charisma University last year and saw changes across the board in his life. He says, "Hi, Charlie. I wanted to thank you for all your great content. I've actually read some books on this stuff, but your videos are by far the most valuable. My job has improved. My outlook with women has improved. I actually met my wife by being more confident, and my life in general is in a better place. This stuff really works." And there's so many more success stories just like those in the comments if you decide to join the course. If you do join, it comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee, which is 100% for any reason at all. And I hate those courses that make you jump through hoops. We make sure not to do that. We also make sure that it is 60 days, even though the course is only 30, because I want to make sure that every single person is actually getting a ton of value from the course. If you're not, you can just refund. So if you want to check the course out, go ahead, click the link on the screen now or below in the description. We've had thousands of members go through this course and get a ton out of it, and I would love for you to do the same. Either way, I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.